Sean Marks responded to these rumors saying, quote, Pop has a job, so I will say that. And obviously, we all know he's an amazing, amazing coach. And to be quite frank, an even better leader. So Shannon, would Pop be a good fit for KD and Kyrie?
No, I don't believe so. Skip, Coach Pop has his ways, and I know, he's going to coach the Olympic team, and Coach K coaching the Olympic team, and there have been some coaches that coach the Olympic team, but that's one thing. To have to be on the grind day-to-day with these guys, Skip, and, everybody thought Jerry Sloan was going to do a great job with Darren Williams, and he ended up retiring, rest his soul. So, Skip, no, I don't think so. I think Pop is used to coaching guys. He coached Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is one of the 3 or 4. Obviously, he's the greatest power forward ever lived, but he's I believe Tim Duncan is the top 5, top 6 player in NBA history. Unassuming. David Robinson, unassuming. Kawhi, unassuming. Manu. So he's not used to having these guys. These guys kind of get into their feelings. They get stubborn. And I don't know. And I just don't see Coach Pop leaving. I can't see Coach Auerbach coaching someone else other than the Celtics. I can't see Coach K. Now that he's with Bennett Duke, Skip, can you imagine Coach K coaching anywhere else for any amount of money? I can't. Same thing I see with Pop. No, but I don't think that'll be a good fit. I think Kyrie and KD probably would be better served if they got someone like a Ty Lue, someone that can manage those guys' egos and because Coach, I just don't see Coach Pop as the fit for these two guys.
Completely agree. I remind you, Sean Marks is the GM of the Nets, and he played for Coach Popovich and then came up through the Spurs front office and became the #1 assistant to R.C. Buford, who I still consider the best GM in basketball. So I am with you on this count. I believe that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving would last about 2 weeks with Greg Popovich, especially at this stage and age of their careers and his career.
Yes.
These are 2 of the thinnest-skinned superstars who ever came down the pike. They are also 2 of the most talented players we have ever seen in this league in different ways. They have now united. They have joined forces. So you have 2 of them together, and they love each other. They are besties. But you're going to have to convince both of them. And Greg Popovich is absolutely their worst-case scenario and maybe their worst nightmare. I just don't think it would begin to work. And I agree with you. Ty Lue is by far the best fit. He's an even better fit than Jacques Vaughn, who's now the interim coach and who Woj said the other day is the odds-on favorite to win the job. And Jacques Vaughn coached for 3 years as head coach in Orlando, and he's 58 and 158. I'm just not sure you could sell that going forward to KD and Kyrie. Sean Marks said the first 2 people he's going to talk to is...
you got to, yeah.
You better.
Yeah.
You better.
Yeah.
So let's look at Greg Popovich. Obviously, I'm a longtime Spurs fan. I've never been the biggest Greg Popovich fan. He's the one coach who still gets away with coaching like he's a college coach, the way Coach Izzo does at Michigan State, where you're the king of your kingdom, and you can just say, you can go off on players, and they just accept it because that's just Coach Izzo. That's just the way he is. Well, Coach Pop is the oldest school my way or the highway coach left in this league.
He is.
And he is the combination good cop, bad cop who leans more toward bad cop behind the scenes. And again, he is scathing in his criticism of President Trump, which is fine. But then he turns right around and he can be scathing in his verbal abuse of the media. He is even worse than Trump is in press conferences in which he berates and humiliates reporters for asking what I consider valid and obvious acceptable questions.
Skip, I don't even know why they talk to him at the start of a quarter or something like that. Why you even talk to him? You already know you're not going to get anything.
All right, so that's the man who motivates and criticizes with heavy sarcasm. He had Tim Duncan for years. He said publicly time and time again, when that man walks out the door into the sunset, I will be walking right behind him. Guess what? That was 4 years ago.
But he brought it back and said, come on, Tim, I can't do this without you.
I'll let you sit beside me on the bench.
Come on, Timmy.
Okay, but he was talking about when Tim quit as a player. Well, he was Belichick to Tim Duncan's Brady. And so Belichick had Brady in the locker room to say, hey, it's okay. This guy's a little crazy, but we'll win if just swallow it. All the sarcasm, all the heavy criticism that you're going to take in film sessions on the practice field. just accept it because we're going to win in spite of it. Okay, well, that's the way the Spurs were. Tim Duncan was the leader of that team. He didn't say anything. He didn't need any shine. He didn't need it. He was not on social media.
No.
He had no ego that I could see.
No.
But he told everyone, this is my guy.
Right.
And I think Tim's, by nature, behind the scenes, he also had kind of a sarcastic wit about him.
He does.
And so he enjoyed trading little barbs with Coach Popovich in a good way.
Right.
That kept the locker room healthy enough that they could win championships.
You hit the nail on the head. Because Tim Duncan allowed Pop to coach him, everybody else had no choice but to fall in line. Because Tom Brady let Belichick coach him,
he did.
Everybody else had no choice but to fall in line. And that's what you have to have happen. You have to have your greatest players, your best players, be coached, then everybody else will fall in line. But if they start bucking, then everybody else start there, well, he ain't listening. I ain't they're not looking at, well, I'm not on that level. They're just looking at, well, if he being disrespectful, he not listening, why should I have to listen?
Okay, so in 16-17, the first year with no Tim Duncan, it was up to Kawhi Leonard to rise into that leadership role and become the star of the team. And he pretty much accepted that role for about a year.
Right.
And they got all the way to game one in the conference final at Oakland.
Right.
And they had it in the bag. They were up, what was it, 23 in the third quarter, and Zaza Pacheep shot happened. Remember that?
Yeah.
He sticks his big size 30 shoe or whatever it was, his clown shoe underneath Kawhi, and he turns his ankle.
Well, Pop made the mistake. Because Pop made the mistake and thought he could coach Kawhi like he did Duncan.
I agree. But for 1 year, it was okay.
Yes.
It was, so they end up getting swept.
Right. It was fine, Skip, until the injury. Like, Duncan might have an injury, and Pop would go by and say, Duncan, you faking because you scared of Shaq. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
Right.
But you couldn't do that with Kawhi. And see, I think that's the mistake. That's what you have to know, Skip. That's how you have to navigate certain players. You could joke with Tim Duncan. You just want a night off.
So then what happened the next year? Kawhi said, no, I've had enough.
Exactly.
I can't take it anymore.
Right.
I want out. I'll do anything to get out of here.
Right.
And that team lost to the Warriors in 5 in the first round. No real shame there. But then here we went last year, and I thought Pop actually did one of his better coaching jobs. They managed to get to the first round and lose in 7 to the Nuggets, but they took them to the bitter end at Denver in Game 7. Not bad. This year they're 27-36. And they're 4 games out of the 8th seed. They're still going to get to go to Orlando, but they've lost LaMarcus Aldridge to shoulder surgery. So I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
They're going to make a deep run. And that was the difference, Skip, because although Coach Tim Duncan knew Pop was joking with him, Kawhi thought, he was like, this man is challenging my manhood. He doesn't believe that I'm actually injured. So that's why you have to know who you're dealing with and how to deal with certain guys, and that's the really good coaches. But that's Pop's style. And at 24 years in, as old as he is, can he change that style?
71 years old.
Yeah,
so do you want to start over in Brooklyn? Because you don't want to just go there for a year or two. When you want to make it 5 years?
Right, and the thing is, Kyrie's been nicked a lot.
He has.
So with that type of sarcasm, oh, you nicked again. How would that play with Kyrie?
Hey, Kevin Durant, as much as I love him, he was on Twitter all weekend.
Oh, he beefing.
Just beefing with everybody, with nobodies, right? Anybody takes a shot, he's going to shoot back.
He's going to fire back.
Okay, so if Greg Popovich dared to make some sarcastic comment, you going to make a shot today again? You know, like something, even in practice, you're going to make a shot?
Right.
Well,
you out again?
Yeah.
Hey. I guess we got to cancel practice today. KD not playing.
Not practicing. There we go. Yep. Okay.
No. All right. Well, the Cleveland Indians might be the latest in discussing changing their nickname. We'll have the latest on that.